Okay, good evening, everyone. I'd like to be mindful of your time. So the time is 5:31 p.m. We will call our work session to order. Mr. Humphrey, could you please call the roll?
Ms. Davis,
I'm present.
Ms. Green, Mr. Jones, Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr.
Yes,
Lawson.
can you hear me?
Yes, we heard you, sorry. Mr. Lawson,
Here.
Ms. Rawls,
Present.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Present.
Ms. Hill.
Present. Thank you. We will begin with the work of the Administration Committee. We have two resolutions for discussion this evening. We will begin with Resolution 16 of 2026. Mr. Humphrey, could you please read it into the record?
Resolution 16 of 2026, a resolution to negotiate and enter into a lease agreement with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation in the amount of $1 for a certain portion of right-of-way with parking and lighting improvements located under the South Bridge of I-83 to be used as parking for recreational activities on the Capital Area Greenbelt.
Thank you. Who from the administration is present to discuss Resolution 16 of 2026?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Joel Saders. I'm the city engineer. This resolution is pretty straightforward, I feel. We all know the 83 project is coming through the area. The next phase is the South Bridge. It'll actually go to construction this year. And what this lease is in reference to is there's a small gravel area under the South Bridge currently off of South Front Street. It's primarily used by those wishing to access the Greenbelt for parking. And as part of PennDOT's bridge construction, they plan to pave that, kind of renovate the whole area, add security lighting. And if the city were to enter into the lease agreement with them, we would then take over maintenance of that area, plowing, debris clearing, and then address any lighting issues that might come up.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any questions regarding this resolution, but I'll open up the floor to my colleagues who may have some questions for you. I'd like to begin to my left with Councilwoman Rawls.
Thank you, President Hill. I don't have any questions. I was very excited to see to be used as parking for recreational activities. I think that always seeing more parking is pleasant, especially with us trying to build up the things that we're doing within the city. So I don't have any questions at all. That was it. I was just excited to see trying to add some more parking.
Thank you. Councilman Rodriguez, any questions on Resolution 16?
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Joel, for joining us this evening. No questions for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
It is pleasant, especially with us trying to.
She got there, yo, got it.
Councilwoman Davis?
Good evening, Mr. Siders. Thank you for being here this evening. This is pretty clear cut to me, so I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know. Vice President Jones, are you able to hear me? Okay. Councilwoman Green, any questions on Resolution 16?
How are you? You still looking for Vice President Jones?
Yes, I guess.
I can.
Hello?
There it
Okay.
is.
Do you have any questions related to Resolution 16?
No, I don't have any questions. I am having some difficulties. I apologize.
That's okay. Thank you. Councilwoman Green, any questions?
Thank you, President Hill. Thank you for being here tonight. My apologies for my slight tardiness. I don't have any questions. When I read over this, it's pretty clear cut, so thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Councilman Lawson, do you have any questions related to Resolution 16?
Thank you, President Hill. I have no questions. I am happy to see parking for expanded recreation, so I'm thrilled to see this. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. If there are no further questions, no further discussion, I move to add Resolution 16 of 2026 to our next legislative session agenda for a formal vote. Thank you. Next, we have Resolution 19 of 2026. Mr. Humphrey, could you please read it into the record?
Resolution 19 of 2026, a resolution appointing Ms. Catherine O'Flaherty to serve on the Harrisburg Architectural Review Board of the City of Harrisburg.
Thank you. Good evening. If you wouldn't mind just taking a few minutes to introduce yourself.
Hello. Thank you for having me here. My name is Catherine O'Flaherty. I prefer to go by Katie, otherwise I feel like I'm in trouble. I am applying to be on the Harrisburg Architectural Review Board. I moved to Midtown almost 2 years ago, but I've been working in downtown for the past 8.5 years. And I had started looking into like the planning and codes and all that jazz when I had some delightful, expensive projects at my house. I discovered that the Architectural Review Board and living in a historic district was, sorry, I'm very nervous talking in front of people, was just something that really caught my interest, and I've always had an interest in history, especially of wherever I've been living. And I would really love to be a part of helping Harrisburg homeowners and residents and anybody who lives in the city to figure out the best way to take care of and keep everything looking historical but also livable for those who are here.
Thank you. Before I open the floor up to my colleagues who may have some additional questions for you, I just wanted to note the Harrisburg Architectural Review Board shall be comprised of 7 members. And whereas pursuant to Section 7-317.4, subsection A, the members of the board shall consist of 1 registered architect, 1 licensed real estate broker, 1 building inspector of the city, and 4 additional persons with a knowledge of and interest in preservation of the historic overlay district and reside therein. Appointments to the board shall be made by the mayor with the advice and consent of city council. Ms. O'Flaherty resides in a historic district and is passionate about learning and preserving Harrisburg's historical architecture. Pursuant to Section 7-317.4, subsection C, appointees to the board shall serve for a term of 3 years or for the unexpired portion of a vacated term. So your potential appointment would be for a term of 3 years, commencing on the date of City Council's approval of this resolution and expiring 3 years thereafter. So just like to note that. I guess one more question. I think you talked a little bit about it during your introduction, but what impact do you believe that you will be able to make should you be appointed to serve on the Harrisburg Architectural Review Board?
I'm a very recent homeowner, and I did a lot of, just as a personal anecdote, ended up doing a lot of research when trying to figure out one of my walls needed to have the brick repointed. It's a 139-year-old house, and the masonry was very spotty, and I spent a lot of time and a lot of effort looking up on how to properly take care of that and how to properly vet contractors and masons to do that work, because it was simply too large for me to do by myself. And it wasn't until afterwards that I realized that I could have potentially reached out to the Architectural Review Board and asked them for help. And so I'm hoping that I will be able to help residents of the city realize that those options are out there. And the review board is not just to say, no, you can't do that, but to figure out the best way for residents and property owners to come to an agreement on how to preserve the historical architecture of the city, but also keep it livable for everyone here and everyone in the future.
Thank you. I don't have any other questions. I am going to open up the floor to my colleagues who may have some additional questions for you. This time, I'd like to begin with our Building and Housing Committee Chair, Councilwoman Davis. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, President Hill. Good evening, Ms. O'Flaherty. I don't have any questions. I would just like to say that being that you're passionate and you have an interest in this board is half of the battle. So I think you would be great at it. And thank you for being here this evening. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you. Councilman Rodriguez, do you have any questions?
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you for joining us this evening and your willingness to serve in this capacity. I have no questions. It was just rather hard to hear on our end, but that's just due to the technical difficulties. But I really appreciate you joining us this evening, and I look forward to seeing the great work you'll be doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Rawls, any questions?
Good evening. Thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for being willing to volunteer to be on our Harrisburg Architectural Review Board. It's a very important component within our city since we do have so many historical districts. I actually have two questions. My first question is, I've been very passionate in this area too, especially with our historical districts, but also the affordability of being able to keep up with our historic houses, especially for, I feel, as residents who may have purchased the house before it became historic, and then it becomes historic, and now I have to do updates, and it becomes a bit costly. So I was wondering, since you have had similar experience, how could you, or what would you try to put in place to help homeowners that do have to do updates on their home a certain way, but it is costly? How could you help in those areas?
I know that there's never one specific way to do anything, and a lot of the options that we have for whatever the particular project is in mind, whether it's putting up a fence or repairing historic plumbing that has broken, which doesn't really fall in that category, but or updating windows. Like, there are so many options, and so many times it's just overwhelming for homeowners, as one of them.
Right, right.
It's definitely something that there's always going to be so many options, and it's definitely something that we can take the time to review with the homeowner and make sure that they're not wasting their time or money updating or improving whatever they need, and to make sure that it's still livable. But especially a lot of parts of historical architecture, especially residential, were designed to be maintained, not replaced. That's definitely something to consider, because when you have home maintenance, there's unfortunately always going to be some sort of cost. But it's just a matter of figuring out where the balance is of materials and labor, and how we could best
I agree.
work around that.
Thank you. And I just have one other question. It's from a resident just wondering, what experience do you have within historic districts or historic overlays, or wanting to be a part of this board? Could you speak to any other experiences or experiences you have other than you living in an historic home?
That's a very reasonable question, especially since I've only been there for less than 2 years. And previously, I was a renter for several years. I moved down here in large part because I worked downtown and it was easy to walk to work. But I absolutely love living in the beautiful area that I'm in now. to the point where I have become a little bit obsessed with historic windows. In the past couple of months, I have taken classes on how to like fully restore and repair historic windows, mostly so that I could do it myself. I do a lot of personal research. It is my desire to be on the board excuse me, definitely stemmed from a personal interest, but I also know that there are a lot of folks who don't have the time or don't have the wherewithal to even look into this sort of stuff, and especially like if you have something break in your house, it's all of a sudden you need to get it fixed right now. I hate being in that position myself, and I would love to be able to even just help other people if they need to research how to do that or like finding the best way. So I don't have as much experience as some folks who are already on the board, but I'm definitely hopeful that I can learn from the folks who are on the board and also work with the folks who live in Harrisburg already to further educate myself.
Well, that's always the best way, is being open to learn more. And I love that you took a class on historic windows. I did not know that existed, so I'm interested in that class myself because my home has historic windows. So thank you. That's it. That's all from me.
Thank you. Vice President Jones, do you have any questions?
I apologize again. I really couldn't hear her. Sound like she was whispering, and I couldn't hear very well. So at this moment, I don't have any questions.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Green, any questions?
Thank you. Thank you for being here tonight and your willingness to serve. I think most of my questions have been asked and answered at this point. I appreciate you being willing to be a part of this board and lend your expertise as a homeowner and as also someone who's personally invested in this. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Lawson, do you have any questions?
Hello, and thank you so much for your willingness to serve. We want more citizens, but we want more people that are committed and to also working to help make our neighborhoods and our city better. So now that I've gone on this diatribe, no, I do not have any questions. Thank you, President Hill, but I do want to accommodate you for stepping up and being willing to be an active citizen, and we need more people like that. Thank you.
Thank you. If there are no further questions.
I don't have any questions, President Hill. I just wanted to note, Ms. O'Flaherty, that one of my concerns is that when new people move into the neighborhood or into this community, they may buy a property that's a historic property, but they may not have any idea of what it's going to take to keep it up and to comply with the city's and HARB's rules and regulations. And from my understanding is that the real estate agents are supposed to communicate to the buyers what needs to be done or what potentially would need to be done to update and keep up with the property. So I would just ask you to kind of keep an eye on that if you're selected for this position, so that people that are coming into the community to buy these properties aren't blindsided. You know.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. There are no further questions, no further discussion. I move to add Resolution 19 of 2026 to our next legislative session agenda for a formal vote. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you so much.
The next committee business lies with the Budget and Finance Committee. There is one resolution for discussion. That's Resolution 18 of 2026. Mr. Humphrey, could you please read it into the record?
Resolution 18 of 2026, A resolution approving the second proposed 2026 budget reallocation, including an initial appropriation and allocation in fulfillment of contractual commitments.
Thank you. Who from the administration is present to discuss Resolution 18 of 2026?
I guess we have two of us. My name is Bob Kennick. I'm the finance director, and Brian McCutcheon, the accounting manager.
Yes, thank you, Bob. Good evening, council members, Budget and Finance Committee, Vice President Jones, good evening. Two exhibits for you this evening. Exhibit A is currently up on the screen, and Bob, you're okay if you want it? You okay? Sure.
Yeah, Exhibit A is relatively straightforward. This is just a summary of the recent results of the ratification of the contract for the ASME union. The key numbers are pretty much right at the top. If you look at line 12 and column E, the approved budget, total ASME payroll was about $8.8 million. And if you slide over to column K on the same line, after the contract ratification, they're going to cost about $9.6 million instead of the $8.8 million. So the total increase that we're looking for the budget is about $800,000. The rest of the schedule down below just gives you more detail. It breaks down the actual numbers in a couple different categories and also shows you the totals by department. But the bottom line is that this is relatively straightforward but painful, that we have to add another $800,000 to our 2026 budget as a result of the ratification of the ASPE contract. And if you have any questions, feel free.
Are there any questions related to Exhibit A?
No, I think that one is pretty straightforward.
Okay, thank you. Exhibit B?
Okay. Just one last comment on Exhibit A. As Bob mentioned, all the detail is below the schedule, but the increase, of course, includes the recently approved 4% increase in compensation for salaries and wages, the specified bonus amount on an individual basis, and the corresponding increase in Social Security, Medicare, or FICA payroll tax expense. This, of course, relates just to the non-uniform collective bargaining agreement, or ASME. Okay. That's all I have on that. Yeah.
Let me just interject a preview of coming attractions. Hopefully the police contracts will be ratified within the next couple of weeks, maybe a month or so. And then we also have the fire department up for renegotiation. Their contract expires December 31st of this year. So this is really just a preview of coming attractions.
Okay.
All right, on to Exhibit B. And yes, thank you, Cedric. There's two items to note on here which are further explained by the footnotes A and B. The first part relates to two funds here where there's a communicated need to address the current Reservoir Park Pavilion renovation project. So the biggest piece of this is to move $500,000 actually within the Capital Projects Fund, but taking it from the equipment line and moving it up to buildings and structures to fit the renovation of the pavilion. And from communications also from departments, or the original budget of $500,000 was in the original appropriation. It was meant for electrical upgrades at Riverfront Park. But the decision or the focus now is to address the pavilion renovation project. So that's 500,000. The remaining 43,000 to get to the total for footnote A within neighborhood services, but it's the parks maintenance budget unit piece, and the request here is to move $43,000 from one of the supply lines and to match it up to the building and structure account for this capital initiative. That's footnote A. I'll move to footnote B, which relates again to neighborhood services and specifically the city services or sanitation component of that fund. And I think I'll hold right there because I know Director Dave West is here and he may want to comment on these particular lines if he's available.
Good evening, President Hill and council members. We had to make a decision to take some lines and some finance to purchase a small packer, which is a small trash truck, in order to make our run for our state project. We took on the state's trash a couple of years ago, and they had their own truck to do their recycling. But when those employees retired, as an obligation, just like we have for Stilton, Pembroke, Paxton, and the city of Harrisburg itself, if you take on the trash, you take on the recycling as well, because it comes together. So we have an obligation to take on their recycling, and their recycling consists of their cardboard and their office paper, which will be an added revenue to the city of Harrisburg. And now that we have taken it over, we had to purchase a truck in order to be able to feed the task. And we took this finances and we put it together into an equipment line to be able to purchase the small packer so we can complete the task of fulfilling our obligation to the state. And every day we fill this truck up with office paper and we fill it up with cardboard on a daily basis. So we were using one of the small packers that we have, but it stipulates us from doing our job at a full capacity for what the trucks are already being used for. So we kind of swap and we're juggling until we're able to purchase the small sanitation packer to fulfill the obligation for the state itself, and the other small trucks can complete the task that they're on.
Okay. Are you able to also speak to the capital projects appropriation or no?
Yes, the $500,000?
Yes.
Yes. So the $500,000 that was for the the lighting that we had to fix down by the Riverwalk. And what we did was we waterproofed the boxes so they can last us for a year or two. So we were able to take that money because we have to fix the pavilion. So we have to fix the pavilion in order for us to have the summer program. If not, it'll be too dangerous for us to use for the summer program for the children. So in my direction, I saw that it's more feasible to be able to use that money to fix the pavilion so we could have the program that we would have, and we will be able to accomplish these feats.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted a little bit more
Yes,
information about that
Understand.
appropriation. Thank you.
Understand. But we will continue to address the issue as far as the electric boxes, what the money was moving for in the first place.
Okay. Do you have an idea of when you might complete the electric boxes?
We won't be able to complete them until next year.
Okay.
But we did waterproof them so they won't cause an electric shock for us to be able to make it through this year.
Okay. Thank you.
Because it doesn't take all of the money. It takes most of the money, but we'll use the rest of it to continue to do what we need to do to keep it going until next year.
Okay. Got it. Thank you. I don't have any other questions. I will open the floor to my colleagues. I'd like to begin with Vice President Jones. Are you able to hear us?
Yes, I can. Thank you, President Hill. Thank you, Mr. West. Not going to go into too much, but I do have a question in regards to what President Hill just asked you about the 500,000. I heard your explanation somewhat, but I'll just ask my question. I know, I want to say it was maybe 3 months ago that you guys asked for this money, and for the equipment, and now you want to move it somewhere else. Can you give me an explanation why we're moving it so quickly?
Because without repairing the pavilion, we will not be able to carry through with the summer program for the youth. And we are able to take this money and get through the events that are coming through for the rest of the year, to be able to just get through this year with what we have done to contain the waterproofing of the boxes.
Okay, so what, I heard you mention something about what it was originally allocated for. What do we do about that now that we're moving it?
We are not able to fulfill our total obligation in changing all of the boxes, but we did make them safe to get through this season of events that we're going to have for the rest of the year. By waterproofing.
Do you anticipate the cost to be in total of the 500K?
For next year? Or the 500,000 that we're going to use for the pavilion? Thank you.
Are you going to use some of this for the Packer and these events? Is that what you're saying?
No, the Packer is a totally different issue. The 500,000 is for the pavilion, which is 543,000.
Okay. Yeah, I apologize. I won't ask too many more questions. I'll just try to, once I get back into the city, get some more clarification. But, I wouldn't stop from moving it to, our next legislative session. So I definitely will require some more information, but, I just can't get to it all right at this moment. So I apologize again. And thank you, President Hill. I don't have any further questions.
Thank you. And next, I'd like to ask if our Public Works Committee Chair, Councilman Rodriguez, if you have any questions.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you, Director West, for joining us. My questions were in the spectrum of Councilman Jones's questions, so I have no further questions on this. Maybe I'll connect with Director West to find out a little bit more about the pavilion, but nothing that would interrupt the session right now at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Councilwoman Rawls, our Parks, Recreation, and Enrichment Committee Chair.
Thank you so much, President Hill. I just wanted to let my colleagues know that I have spoken in length with the Parks and Rec department about this pavilion and needing the money for the updates. I too had concerns because I know that we needed the lighting in the riverfront, and that was one of the issues that we had, and we needed the updated lighting. However, my biggest concern was the pavilion and the summer program. I know my daughter attended the summer program there this summer, and the pavilion is not in good shape. It needs painting, but the floorboards are, I think, the biggest concern. I don't want a child to get hurt by falling through the floorboards. I think it's just a little risky there, the pavilion. So I just wanted my colleagues to know that I had spoken spoken with the Parks and Rec Department in length, and I also had the same concerns you do, but my biggest concern are the children at the park this summer. So I just wanted you all to let you all know that I was in support of this, although I know it raises some concerns with what the money was initially intended for, and that we have an obligation to make sure that lighting is complete. My only other question, well, not question, but if you maybe could go on the length of when the pavilion would be done. I know that they spoke to me about it, but I don't know if any deadlines have changed. But I also do know Director Rest said if it's not done, they had spoke about putting a tent up if the pavilion wasn't done exactly when summer camp started, but then it would be done within a week or so of the camp. But I know that could be a concern for my colleagues and the residents. So if you are able to speak of that at all, with any extra timelines on the completion of it.
Yes, so once passed by council that we can move forward, we will move forward with the construction companies that we're dealing with to maintain, to be able to be on time with the opening of the pavilion with whatever they have to do. And for a backup, if that doesn't happen, we have to have a plan B, and the plan B would be, if so, for a week, to have a tent to be able to maintain the youth program that we're gonna have for the summer, so they can finish the project so we can move right into the pavilion. And we're not making the electrical boxes not an issue now. It's just that the priority issue is we have to have the programs ready for the children for the summer. And in order to do that, we have to use the money to do it. And in the same sense, make the electrical boxes safe for the summer so we can get by before we can change them all out. We just not changing them all out, but we are making them safe.
Thank you for giving more clarification on that. That's it for me, President Hill.
Thank you. Councilwoman Davis, do you have any questions?
Thank you, President Hill. Yes, good evening, Mr. West.
Good evening.
In terms of making the boxes waterproof, is that something that needs to be done, or was it done already? Just clarification.
No, that's what we are going to be in the process of doing once it's approved.
Okay.
Of the direction that we want to take.
Okay. Thank you. That's it for me.
Thank you. Councilwoman Green, any questions?
Thank you very much for being here tonight. I do have a couple of questions. The first question is, when did we know that the pavilion needed upgrades?
We knew for a period of time, but because of the weather that we are receiving, they have become worse than what we thought they were going to be.
Okay, so we thought they would be able to make it through the summer, and now they're not able to? Because I guess I'm just kind of wondering, why wasn't it budgeted for, right? Because we're kind of early into the year for such a large reallocation, and it's like, why didn't we budget for this during the budget season?
Because we thought that we were going to be able to make it.
Okay, and what all is going to be being done? Like, what are the upgrades?
The floor, the pavilion itself, and it's going to be totally upgraded wherever needed to be upgraded through the entire pavilion. If you want a detail list, I will be able to get you a detailed list of the upgrading of the entire pavilion.
Okay, I'd appreciate that, because I've heard rumors that windows are going to be put in now, that all sorts of things. So I just would like to know what is going to be done.
Okay, I'll get you the list of what we're going to have done.
Okay, I appreciate it. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Lawson, do you have any questions?
Hello. Thank you, President Hill. Not really a question. Thank you, Director West, for coming out and presenting this information. My only concern is that it seems like we're doing a quick job with the lighting, and I think we need to make sure that the lighting does remain a high priority. And then I'm not saying to sacrifice what we're doing for the kids over at the pavilion, but I think in this upcoming budget, we have to look at some long-term fixes so that we're not doing patchwork. We want to make sure that, you know, these areas are light and safe, and they're open to our residents. So I think the lighting has to be a priority that we focus on here in the coming future.
I agree. The lighting, the electrical boxes are for the events on Front Street. And the pavilion is a totally different project that we met as a team to come to a conclusion that we have to attend the pavilion because of the summer program, which this is March, and we have a couple of months to get there. So, and we have to be on a project, we have to be expedited very fast in order to do what we need to do and not miss anything at the same time. So that's why the focus is there.
Thank you, and I agree with that. It's just that the riverfront lighting is a sore subject with me because it's typically really dark there and it doesn't feel very safe, and it's not very welcome for a lot of our residents. So we definitely, and I'm not saying to take away from the pavilion, but we need to do this as a this has to be something that we really move to the forefront.
I agree.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Thank you. If there's no further discussion, no additional questions, I move to add Resolution 18 of 2026 to our next legislative session for a formal vote. Thank you for being here this evening.
Thank you.
Next, we have public comment. Just a few housekeeping notes before we begin. Please state your name and your address for the meeting record. If you don't feel comfortable sharing your address, please share the vicinity in which you live within the city. You will have 4 minutes to share your comments. Mr. Humphrey has added a timer to the screen for your reference. I will begin to my right. Is there anyone that would like to offer public comment? Okay, seeing and hearing no one. Anyone in the middle section? Yes, please. Thank you.
I obviously don't know what I'm doing. Thank you. Good evening, Council. Carrie Fowler, Midtown Harrisburg. I really wish I wasn't here for this. I really do. But I'm here today because I'm being openly harassed and attacked on social media by Gloria Martin Roberts. The reasons for these attacks is simple. I spoke out and expressed my opinion about her appointment to a position that I did not believe she was qualified for. Let me be very clear. As a taxpayer and voter in this city, I have every right to express my opinion about decisions made by our government. That is just not my right. It is a fundamental part of democracy. But instead of being able to participate in civic discussion like any other resident, I've been subjected to repeated online attacks on my character by someone in a leadership position connected to a federally funded department. And I want to address the nature of those attacks directly. This has gone beyond disagreement. Gloria Martin Roberts has publicly attacked my character and even threatened to pull my criminal background in order to expose it on social media. Let me be clear about something else. I am not ashamed of my past. I've been open about it. The mistakes I made came during a time when I was struggling with an undiagnosed mental health disorder that I did not yet understand. Since then, I've done the work, I sought help, I took responsibility, and I turned my life around. I am proud of who I am today and everything that I have overcome to be the person I am today. So using my past against me is not the threat she thinks it is, because I've already owned it. But that does not make her actions acceptable. Regardless of mental health struggles, regardless of past mistakes, we should not be attacking people for things they have already taken responsibility for and worked hard to overcome. That is not accountability, that is retaliation. And when someone in a position of power threatens to expose and weaponize a resident's past simply because they spoke out, it sends a chilling message to this entire community. Speak up and you could be next. What makes this even more concerning is that the city of Harrisburg already has a social media policy in place outlining expectations for employee conduct. So the question is simple. Why are we not holding people accountable to the policies that are already exist? Because policies mean nothing if they are not enforced. I reported this behavior to the city's Human Resources Department and provided all of the documentation of the online harassment. It has gone on for over a week. I have received no response. I have also showed the post documenting this harassment with members of council, so there is no question that everybody knows, for the most part, what is going on. So tonight I want to ask the council this: what are you going to do to stop this retaliatory behavior and enforce the policies that are already in place? This is drastically affecting my grandson, who is 15 years old. He is reading these attacks. He is getting very upset about the attacks. I have asked for help. I have filed complaints, and I have received no response explaining what is being done to ensure the harassment of my character stops. I would respectfully ask that council respond and explain what steps will be taking, because there has been silence from everyone. I'm asking for accountability, and I'm asking for an answer. I want to be very clear. If this behavior continues to be ignored, I am fully prepared to escalate this issue further until there is accountability. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the middle section that would like to offer public comment?
Good evening, Council. Kia Fowler, North 5th Street. Ironically, no relation to Carrie Fowler, though we do sort of look alike, so it's kind of interesting. I wanted to start this off on a lighter topic, but Ms. Fowler's comments kind of brought something forward for me. So last week I made some public comments about the mayor, about how I disapproved of some public statements she'd made in her representation as mayor. After this meeting last Tuesday, the mayor allowed 3 of her compatriots to attempt to physically intimidate me and verbally intimidate and harass me as well when I went to speak about some other behavior she displayed during last Tuesday's meeting. Additionally, while speaking with the mayor, Ms. Gloria Roberts did stop by, and she must have overheard a discussion I had with Councilwoman Rawls last Tuesday. I'd appreciated Councilwoman Rawls and President Hill's strict questioning of Ms. Gloria Roberts, because I'm not familiar with her work, and so to kind of see the really thorough questioning, I really appreciated. I had made no comment on allegations about Ms. Gloria Roberts' conduct. I do think that public officials need to be held to upstanding moral character because they're representations of the public. So I was concerned to hear the public alleging these things against her. I'm even more dismayed to hear this now. And additionally, in support of Ms. Fowler's comments, when I was speaking with the mayor, Ms. Gloria Roberts passed by and continued to emphasize a point that was made that I was personally attacking the mayor, dragging her name through the mud. Ms. Roberts overheard that, and in support, I suppose, of that accusation, made a snide comment about how I had been disrespectful towards her as well, having overheard her comment or my discussion with Ms. Rawls. So I hope that she continues to do a good job in this role, but I'm deeply dismayed to see a person, especially of her age and theoretically more mature attitude, behaving so immaturely. Given that Ms. Fowler has already been attacked online, and I intend to speak further about my interaction with the mayor, I am concerned about harassment for myself as well. On to a more positive note, thank you, Councilwoman Rawls, for addressing my question with Ms. O'Flaherty. I was an archaeology student in university, so I'm glad to see not only was Ms. O'Flaherty very excited to learn about her house through personal work, but to hear that she'd gone a step further and doing the work by taking a class on historical architecture. I'm very, very pleased with that and would very much support her nomination to the position if you guys are so inclined. I know Council's been trying to reach to the public lately about how we can continue to improve downtown. Some friends of mine and I just wanted to point out that people are complaining online about parking situation. I understand that this is a this is a private authority who governs a lot of the public parking downtown. There are concerns about some alleged overzealous enforcement, bordering on kind of too much enforcement. I'm not saying people shouldn't pay for parking. Absolutely, you should be ticketed, but there's some allegations of a particular parking enforcer. I won't say abusing power because I have no knowledge directly, but the intimations online are bordering on abuse of power for that individual parking enforcement agent. Otherwise, thank you very much for your time this evening.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the middle section? Seeing and hearing no one. Anyone to my left who would like to offer public comment?
Good afternoon, President and City Council. I'm interested in creating a Camp Curtin Historical District. We never really gave Camp Curtin the recognition it deserves. And I would like to work with council to draw up something in regards to Camp Curtin and having a historical district around Camp Curtin, which is 7th to 4th, McClay to Schuylkill. That district it should be merited, and I think we need to do something to highlight the Uptown district as being historical. Whatever it takes to write it, because there's a lot of literature. If we have to pull stuff together to make it cute, or whatever we have to do, but I think within our anniversary, the 250th anniversary, should have some kind of method to the madness to highlight who and what we are, because we're looking for some identity, and we're trying to bring tourists in. We're trying to, highlight some of the high points of what Harrisburg is and who we are. So creating a district would be fine. I would work with any council person, including the mayor and Gloria Martin Roberts, if they'll give me a meeting. It's crazy. But yeah, but I would love to work with council to maybe put some pressure on them to do something, because sometimes they don't do anything other than harass people. But I'm gonna try to help them so they do something, and I don't want to get too angry or bothered by some of their performances, and I'm not going to be the one. But I could, but I'm not going to do it. The State Street Bridge, Royal Terrace, it's horrible. The trash on the embankment it's been like that for 20 years. Somebody needs to look at the trash and get it together. We can do a project in which we can have a solar panel array, just clear it up, concrete it, put some solar panels on that angle, and we could supply that area, including the bridge with lighting. I want to come in front of council sometime this month, and I have a PowerPoint presentation that I can show you guys that would help you in understanding my vision for the State Street Bridge for our 250th anniversary. If we can set a date, I don't know who I should talk to in regards to setting a date, but I'm ready. It's pretty smart, and it's clean, and it gets the trash out of the way. There's a parcel at 13th and State that we never used, and I'll be 60 this year, and I've never seen anything on that tract of land at 13th and State. We could erect a museum to highlight what the State Street Memorial Bridge actually is. It was based on all the wars that we had in America, and we really do need an educational revisit of who and what we are, so we know what's going on. Our school is hurting. That could help with curriculum. We're looking at new ways on how we can educate our children economically right here in walking distance. We can do all that. It's just up to us to put it together. Last week I talked about the meetings. They need to be staggered because school district is having some issues. It's bad. If we looked at the percentages of
Thank you for your comments, sir.
Okay, of homelessness for the children, there's just a lot of stuff to do. Our elected officials shouldn't be like posting up and harassing people in the bathrooms or nothing like that. It's crazy. Let's get it together. I'm available and I'm around.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council. Libby Prophet, 2000 block of Chestnut Street. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Just another reason to celebrate. I was recently, not by the mayor, let's get this straight. I was recently called a white supremacist. And I want to keep my black card, right? However, if there's benefits to it, I would also like to cash in on that because of my pro-American views, I guess, understanding that Caucasian people has had their share of horrific things happen to them, and understanding that melanated people also have had horrific things happen to them. And when I voice those views, sometimes people think that I'm anti-black, which is absurd because I'm so melanated. But I wanted to say that we face different challenges, and maybe because I'm more educated, when I'm thrown negative vibes, I kind of learn how to take it and multiply it. Today was a real successful day, so I wanted to thank Harrisburg for the job it's doing. Thank you, ladies, for showing up. The guys decided to take the day off, but it is Women Empowerment Month, and you guys are doing your thing. Thank you very much. You don't do enough. You will never do enough, but you are doing something. And for that, happy St. Patrick's Day.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to my left that would like to offer public comment? Seeing and hearing no one. The guys actually aren't off. They did participate via Zoom. Councilman Lawson and Vice President Jones are attending the National League of Cities 2026 Congressional City Conference. So their local leaders engage with the current administration. They hone advocacy skills and strengthen the local federal partnership to support our municipality, the city of Harrisburg. So they're not off. They're attending a conference, the National League of Cities Congressional Conference. Just wanted to note that. And I guess I do have a question for Solicitor Grover, since the Bureau of Human Resources is under the Administration Committee's purview. Just for general knowledge, what is the appropriate what is the appropriate course to file a complaint, and then what is supposed to happen after that, just for everybody's reference?
It can be very sort of topic specific. Some complaints don't belong in human resources. Ones that do trigger a question, frankly, typically to our office. For this particular one, there was someone assigned to then review it and look into it, and that is happening right now.
Okay, so it's under review.
Yes.
And generally, a complaint filed with the Bureau of Human Resources ends up in the Law Bureau.
We're back in HR or different departments. Like, we make an initial determination that it belongs or doesn't belong over where we are.
Okay.
And I will say, and I know the public hates this, a week is a very short time in government, you know, with the number of issues that come through. So a complaint that's a week old, it's a pretty new complaint.
You said you have documentation, can you please send it? And I did, and I still have not heard anything. Not thank you, it's under review, nothing. I sent another one yesterday. I am just writing to see what is going on with this, and I still haven't received anything.
As a follow-up question, once review is complete by either the Law Bureau or the Bureau of Human Resources, should a resident or anyone making or filing a complaint receive some form of communication noting that a review occurred and here is the outcome?
Again, it's going to be very specific. We're not here to give legal advice to outside parties. We just are not. You know, we give legal advice to city management on a particular issue that comes in, and then they are tasked to carry out from there with what that legal advice is. So we are not speaking generally for the city on all things. We are simply providing advice when something comes through our office on what is the appropriate thing to do, if further review is needed, if review outside the city government is needed. It just depends on the type of complaint that it is.
Okay, I was just curious. Councilwoman Rawls.
Thank you, President Hill. I had a similar comment or question as President Hill, and then I did want to update the residents on something. But I don't know what professional development we do within the city with employees and what information we give when they're hired and during their employment when it goes with the internet etiquette. But I would say there needs to be some updated conversations. So I'll just say that along with what the process is for reviews. I don't know what hand you have in that and how you speak with the directors or the mayor to say, hey, and from a legal standpoint, here goes some professional development I think we need to have within our city with how we speak with people online. But I would say I do think that needs to be reiterated within the city of Harrisburg for who works for the government here.
I will certainly pass that on to the administration. Our role tends to be to talk about where the lines are with the courts. Social media changes those frequently, and that is where our role usually is about how people on city responses can do, on city equipment can do, what city employees can do on and off the clock. And it is a moving target in the judicial system, and that's more of what our role is.
Yes, I understand that.
Yes. But we will pass on the suggestion that maybe it's time for a refresher.
Yes,
that's
we
understand. Yes.
Yeah, yes. And please note, and I want everybody to know, I'm not saying that in a way of saying that I am an executive force here. I am the legislative branch. I'm just saying I do think there needs to be a refresher. So thank you for that, and thank you for answering those questions. The update I wanted to give pertains to Parks and Recreation, and that the application is open for anyone who would like to work in the Parks and Recreation program this summer, whether it be as a lifeguard or a camp counselor, and the application closes on April the 10th. But it is currently open now online under the Parks and Recreation Committee tab. So I just want to let everybody know that that was open for and is accepting applicants. So thank you. That's it for me.
Thank you very much. The time is 6:34 p.m. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Oh gosh, no one's here.
I know. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. We stand adjourned.